What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another Limitless Pilot live stream. Once again, it's been a while since I've done a stream. Seems like that's the reoccurring theme here. But we are going to be doing a continuation flight from Jacksonville in the MD-90 where we did our last stream. Last time we saw each other, we flew from Miami to Jacksonville in the MD-90 as Delta 1848. And today we're going to be continuing that up to Atlanta. Now, what we're going to be doing a little bit different than I think actually we've probably done maybe one or two streams like this, but we're going to be using Pilot2ATC for our ATC. It's been a while since I've used it, so we're going to test it out and see how it works and see how good it is. So basically I'm going to use Pilot2ATC in place of VATSIM. There is VATSIM coverage on. I know that's normally what we use, but we're going to use Pilot2ATC today, and I'm going to basically simulate everything as if I have a co-pilot. So I'm going to do pretty much no radio communications if possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the plane set up. I've got absolutely nothing set up here. I've learned a little bit about this plane. Although I haven't streamed in a while, I have flown the plane a few times to get a better understanding of it, because the last few times that I've flown it, I've had some issues with it. And that's mostly been because I didn't know what I was doing. So we'll go ahead and jump right into the cockpit here and begin getting everything set up. So we got our documents and charts, everything is on board there. Circuit breakers, we're going to pretend that we checked those. Cockpit voice recorder, we're going to test that, that works. Engine fire detection system, those are all set to both. Parking brake is set, doors are open as needed, and we'll go ahead and get our battery turned on.
Jacksonville International Information Uniform, 1856 Zulu winds are light and variable. Visibility.
And we'll turn our ground power on real quick. Alright, so we got that all powered on here. Let's get our cockpit lights on. We'll turn on some panel lights. We don't need anything. Oh, you know what? It's bright day. We don't need it. So we'll get all of our panels lit up. Whoops. And we'll get our FMC lit up, and that looks good. Alright, so panel lights on, fuel and weight is being loaded. Fuel pumps, we're going to turn on our forward and aft right pumps, and we'll get our start pump on, and we are going to get our APU started. So while that is spooling up, we'll go ahead and do some tests. So we're going to get our panel lights test real quick and just make sure that everything is lit up, and it looks like it is. We'll do our ground proximity warning. And we'll test our wind shear. Okay, and then we'll do our stall speed. System 1 and 2. Overspeed test. Okay, those are good. And logo lights, we don't need those on. Our panel lights are lit up. And here's our APU. So we'll go ahead and switch that over to our APU bus. So APU is powered on, buses are on, APU air is going to come on. We'll turn off our ground connection. Hit that master caution, and we're going to go ahead and dismiss our GPU. We also are using Samworld jetways to have the jetway connected. Alright, IRS, actually hold on, we'll get anti-skid, that is armed, yaw damper is on, IRS mode, align, air conditioning, we'll set that to auto. Radio rack ventilation, we'll put that fan on. Our landing altitude, we'll get that set. Not sure what our landing barometric is yet, but we'll get that later. And then let's get our air conditioning flowing. Alright. Landing pressurization, radio rack good. Emergency lights, we'll get those armed. Seatbelts and no smoking signs will come on. Windshield anti-fog and windshield anti-ice on. METAR selector, so we're going to get this to meter select. That's going to go wrap probe. That's showing that the gear are down. And then we'll go back to captain. And then at this point we'll go to our FMC here. We're going to get our flight director on. We're expecting roughly about 170. We can adjust that once we know exactly. Now we'll get this to 77, which is our departure runway heading. And we're going to go 4,000 initially. And we'll get our course set up for our ILS, which is 275. And that is already the correct frequency there. We're also going to hit ERP limiter, not going to do anything at this point. Takeoff is going to be set there. Okay, and our MCP is set up. Flight planning time. Clear this out. Position initialization. We're going to get our GPS, IRS position in there, and we'll go ahead and start programming this all in. So we're departing from Jacksonville. We're going to put the gate, and we are going to Atlanta, KATL. Flight number Delta 1848, as per usual. That's 1848 as per usual. There we go. And then we'll go to departure. Departure is going to be runway 8, Arnie 2, backslide transition. And our arrival, we're expecting the Jedi 2, Lars, with the ILS 427 left. With the ROM transition, go to legs here. And we gotta add in the Larry waypoint. Larry waypoint, add that in there, bring that up like that, and we'll activate and execute that. Iris is not aligned just yet, so in the meantime we'll go to routes, performance initialization. Cruise altitude today is 280. Cost index is going to be 77. I don't really know, so that's usually what I go with on that. Our reserves, let's get up SimBrief real quick here. Do some quick math. 5.4 and 2.8, so that's going to give us 8.2 for our reserves. And let's see if that's Iris still has not aligned yet. We'll get our cruise wind in there. So our cruise wind is 302 at 11 knots with a deviation of plus 12 degrees. And let's go ahead and expedite the filling our cargo just so we can get all of this punched in here. Still not aligned. Takeoff, outside air temperature is 32. And we're just waiting for that to align. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and get our co-pilot to get our clearance for us. quick, let's see what the frequency is that we need to be on. Clearance delivery is 119.5, so we're going to go ahead and okay.
Delta 1848 ready to copy IFR clearance.
Delta 1848 is cleared to Kilo Alpha Tango Lima, fly the ARNI-2 departure, with the Baxley transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 08. Climb to 4,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.17 squawk 4220.
Delta 1848 is cleared to Kilo Alpha Tango Lima, fly the ARNEY-2 departure, with the Baxley transition, then as filed. Climb to 4,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.17 squawk 4220.
Delta 1848 read back correct. Altimeter 3013 contact ground on 121.9er when ready for pushback. Have a good afternoon.
Altimeter 3013 ground on 121.9er Delta 1848.
Okay, so we got our clearance, we got our altimeter set. We went ahead and put in our transponder, put it on mode C, and our takeoff speed, now that our ISO is aligned, is V2 is 163. So we're going to put this in for plus 15, 178. We're going to rotate at 153. Alright, so let's find out what's next on our list here. Our CG is 8. So let's get that set in there. And we're going to go flaps 11. Real quick, we need our zero fuel weight is 117.3. Not entirely sure what this does right here, but we're gonna go ahead and put that in. Alright, our trim, takeoff trim is set. Okay. And now we're going to turn on our hydraulic pumps to high, transfer pump on, and our auxiliary pump on. And at this point we'll go anti-collision, whoops. And that's going to disconnect that. Let's go ahead and get our pushback going.
Delta 1848 ready for pushback. Delta 1848 pushback approved. Pushback approved Delta 1848.
Alright, so we'll get our pushback going here. So real quick, while that's getting set up for our engine start, we need fuel pumps on. We're going to go ahead and close all of our doors. Fuel pumps are on, air conditioning supply is going to go off. Ignition selector is going to go to both. And then we'll just jump right outside real quick and see where we're at with the connection. Okay, so those guys look like they are ready to go. We will go ahead and wait for them to start our pushback before we get our engines going. Alright, there we go. Pushback has started. Let's get our engine spooled up. Alright, and 18% will introduce fuel. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and turn off that selector, and we'll get the left engine spooled up now. There's 14, looking for 18, 15, 16, 17, and we'll go ahead and introduce fuel to our left engine there. Get that bad boy spooled up. Okay, after engine start checklist, engine starters, those are going to go to off. APU is going to go off. Air conditioning supply will go auto again. Galley power comes on. Ignition selector goes to off. Alright, before taxi checklist, flaps, we're going to set those to 11 degrees. Auto brakes is going to be set to take off, and we're going to arm that. Spoilers, those will get armed. And as soon as he gets out of the way, we will turn on our landing lights, or our nose lights. Real quick, let's step through our flight plan here. We didn't ever do that. And that looks good. Perfect.
Delta 1848 ready to taxi. Delta 1848 taxi to runway 08 via taxiways Hotel, Alpha, Lima. Taxi to runway 08 via taxiways Hotel, Alpha, Lima, Delta 1848.
Alright, so we're going to stay Juliet Alpha Lima though because it's shorter. So we're just going to pretend that they told us Juliet Alpha Lima, and that's what we are going to go with. Alright, so I found out what that means. That just means that this is not exactly where it needs to be. So we got that good. Takeoff warning system is checked. Let's get on our taxi. So we're going to it wants us to go Hotel Alpha Lima, but we're going to go Juliet Alpha Lima and just pretend that that's what it gave us. It's a little bit shorter of a taxi, so that's what we're going to go with. So last time I did this flight, I don't know what the heck happened, but we were about 2,000 feet off of our cruise, and out of nowhere there was just like some really, really bad weather. It's like we drove, or not drove, but like we flew through like a red spot on the radar, and it just, I mean, the autopilot kicked off and the plane went down. I could not recover from it at all. I don't know what the heck happened, what caused it, but hoping that it doesn't happen this time. We are turning the wrong way. We're going Juliet. Not Victor. So the nice thing about Pilot2ATC is it's going to control all of our radio communications, assuming that it works correctly and we have no issues with it. And it's also going to change the frequencies for us, so it's essentially like we have a co-pilot sitting in that passenger seat, so that'll be nice. So we are turning on to Lima now, or Alpha, I'm sorry. I've done this flight in and out of Jacksonville so many times, I think I know exactly where I'm at. Not really sure what that light is. I guess that's our takeoff ready. So as long as this stream goes good, our next one I think is going to be in a different aircraft. I've pretty much familiarized myself with how this plane works and what I need to do with it, which is really what I've been trying to do the last few times I've flown it. And I made a nice
Delta 1848 contact tower on 118.3. Enjoy your afternoon. Tower on 118.3 Delta 1848.
Alright, so real quick we're gonna line up here and we'll get our before takeoff checklist completed. And once we complete that, then we will let them know we're ready to go. Alright, we'll set our parking brake real quick. So before takeoff checklist, APU air is going to go off. Pneumatic cross valves, these will go off. The ignition selector is going to override. We'll turn our strobe and position on, or our strobe light on now. Already had our position on. And then this is going to go on for our weather. And our landing lights will come on.
Tower Delta 1848 ready for departure runway 08.
Delta 1848 winds are light and variable, cleared for takeoff, runway 08.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 08 Delta 1848.
Alright, so there is our takeoff clearance. Alright, and auto throttle on. Looking for 153 for our rotation speed. Airspeed's alive. 100 knots. 120. 140. And rotate. And we got a positive rate. Gear will come up.
Delta 1848 turn left heading 333, then intercept course to Kimmel, then as filed.
Heading 333 to Kimmel, then as filed Delta 1848.
Turn on VNAV. Go flaps up one notch. Plane didn't want to climb right there for some reason. So we're going to go direct Kimmel at this point, and we'll go into nav mode. Alright, after takeoff, gears up, lights are out, flaps are up, ignition selector.
Delta 1848 climb and maintain 10,000 feet, contact Jacksonville, departure on 118.17, have a good one.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet, departure on 118.17 Delta 1848.
Welcome to the stream, Novellis. Thanks for joining.
Departure Delta 1848 climbing to 10,000 feet.
Delta 1848, good afternoon. Radar contact.
Climbing on up out of here. Okay, anyways, ignition selector's off. Engine hydraulic pumps will go to the low. Transfer pump is going to go off. Auxiliary pump off. After takeoff, checklist complete. Are you flying there, Novellis, or in real life, or in the sim? Or just joining us on our way to Atlanta? So we got to be at Arnie above 11,000, which I think we should have no problem. We're already quickly climbing up through 7,500.
Delta 1848 climb and maintain 16,000 feet, contact Jacksonville Center on 132.3, enjoy your afternoon.
See ya.
Center on 132.3, take care Delta 1848. Center Delta 1848 climbing to 16,000 feet.
Delta 1848 good afternoon. Radar contact.
Coming up on 10,000, we'll turn our landing lights off, and we'll go ahead and let the cabin crew know that they're free to move out the cabin. And the plane is going to build its airspeed up now at 291 knots. So we bring our vertical speed down, and then it should bring that on up. And then our rate of climb should start increasing again, and we'll continue on up to 16,000. Beautiful day for some flying. And we're above 11,000 at this point, so we are clear Arnie. Gotta love those weather refreshes. I'm hoping that whenever Microsoft Flight Sim comes out on the 18th, that is not going to be a problem. I just pre-ordered that today, so definitely looking forward to flying that very soon. 10 more days until we get to enjoy the greatness of Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's going to be on a Tuesday, so we'll definitely be doing some flying Tuesday evening. I've even thought about requesting off from work just to get some time in with that simulator. Probably still will be flying a lot on X-Plane just because I have so much money invested into planes and all that. And just, I like having the diversity of planes, but we'll definitely be getting some Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 videos in there for sure. Be interesting to see what happens with third-party add-ons and plugins and whatnot as far as having support. I'd like to see some other aircraft added in there other than what's just given to us. I think they have A320 and a 747 really as our only commercial airliners, so
1848 climb and maintain flight level 220.
Climb and maintain flight level 220 Delta 1848.
And we're only doing that because they are not going to give us vectors. They'll probably give us a direct into our waypoint. So far, we're off to a pretty good start here. It's just about the same as how it started out before. It was about at our cruise altitude that hit some rough air and brought the plane down. So hopefully that does not happen again. I don't see anything on the radar, and I didn't see anything on the radar before, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Thousand feet to standard pressurization. There's 18,000, so we'll go ahead and get our pressurization set. Two 902 inches of mercury or 1013 hectopascal. It's a beautiful day for some flying. I really do enjoy flying this plane too. It took a little while to get used to it and learn how to fly it. Definitely watched a couple of videos, but now that I know how to fly it and I have this checklist to help me get everything set up, it really is a joy to fly. Let's take a look at the outside view. Rotate Sim definitely did a good job on this plane. Looking forward to their MD-11. So far, Pilot2ATC's worked pretty good. It's not the same as using VATSIM in here and other traffic. That's definitely an added feature, but
Delta 1848 climb and maintain flight level 280.
Climb and maintain flight level 280 Delta 1848.
favorite aircraft. That's a good question. I mean, this one is really...
Delta 1848 expect the KJAX arrival with the Lars transition for the ILS approach to runway 27 left with the ROM transition at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta I after Larry cleared direct Lars.
If Expect the KJAX arrival with the Lars transition for the ILS approach to runway 27 left with the wrong transition after Larry cleared direct Lars Delta 1848.
I mean, this one has really grown on me. It's hard. It's really kind of hard to say. I mean, I like all the planes. I really enjoy flying in the simulator and in real life. So it's hard to just pick one plane. I think it really also depends on the type of flying that you want to do in the simulator. If you want to do short to medium haul flights, if you want to do private corporate flight style, if you want to do connecting flights, if you want to do those long haul flights. I mean, I've got pretty much all the planes, and there isn't one that I can say that I just don't like. Right now, I'd say probably the MD-90 is my favorite as of now, but that's just because I fully understand how to use it, and I mean, I've made a checklist for it. Can't go wrong with the Zebra 737 either. I'm just an aviation geek, so really any plane is suitable for me. I'd be happy in any plane that you give me. Alright, so we are off of this chart here, so the next one is, our next waypoint is Lars, so we're going to be doing the Jedi 2, and at that point, our minimum altitude is 6,000 at Daffy. So once we get to our cruise altitude, we'll get our descent altitude and let the plane do its thing. We have 3,000 to go to our top of climb. And I'm really keeping my fingers crossed here that this doesn't have any issues, because right about here is when we started having some crazy weather come out of nowhere. I mean, it looked just like this, and then there was like icing and some storms. So I don't know what the heck happened, but it's 26,000 feet. Kind of holding my breath on this one, just making sure that the plane gets through. Like I said, I don't see anything bad here. But it looks like we're gonna make it through that, so that looks good. Cruising along the ground, 424 knots. I'm just moving. We got about 150 nautical miles to our destination. About 20 minutes and we will be on the ground in Atlanta. this. There's definitely some weather going on out there. I just saw some lightning. I don't know. I don't see this on the radar, so that's the strangest part. But we got definitely some bad weather ahead of us. I just hope that it's not going to be any issue for us. Lots of lightning.
Delta 1848 descend to cross Lars at flight level 240, then descend via the KJAX arrival with the Lars transition to 6,000 feet altimeter 3015 at Hartsfield Jackson, Atlanta.
Will cross Lars at flight level 240, then descend via the KJAX arrival with the Lars transition to 6,000 feet altimeter 3015 Delta 1848.
So we didn't even make it to our cruise altitude. I think we're about to fly into some really bad weather. Yeah, we are definitely about to fly into some bad weather. It's gonna get bumpy. Shows up right here on the radar. But on the weather radar, on Pilot2ATC, I don't see anything. Thankfully that just looks like it dissipated with a weather update, so we don't have any issues with that. Yeah, last time I flew through that weather, it brought the plane down. I did the test flight right before I did this stream. with Pilot2ATC, and it literally crashed the entire plane. I could not recover from it at all. This weather is rapidly changing.
Delta 1848 contact Atlanta Center on 123.9 Have a good afternoon.
Center on 123.9 Delta 1848. Center Delta 1848 descending to 6,000 feet. Delta 1848 good afternoon. Radar contact. Altimeter 3011. Altimeter 3011 Delta 1848.
Alright, so we're flying into the weather. Yeah, it's definitely raining. You can see the rain there. Alright, so we're ready to get our altimeter set 3011. Still got some rain. It's crazy because this does not show up on the radar. It doesn't even show up down here. So hoping for a good approach at least. Alright, so we got our altimeter set. Let's do our approach checklist. Hydraulic pumps for our engines will go to high. Altimeter set. ILS frequency 108.5. We'll just double check that. 108.5, course 275. That's set. Spoilers will get armed again. Auto brakes is going to go to medium, and we are going to arm that. Approach checklist complete. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. We are on the Jedi 2 arrival into Atlanta. We'll be on the ground in roughly 14 minutes. Got a little bit of bad weather, some rain. Nothing that's showing up on the radar, so hopefully it's not too bad, but we've had some spots of rain through this, some thunder and lightning, so even though it looks like a perfectly clear day. Oh, just saw some lightning right there as soon as I switched. So we're using the simulator generated weather to match real world conditions. And the strange...
Delta 1848, contact Atlanta Center on 134.5. Enjoy your afternoon. Center on 134.5, Delta 1848. Center Delta 1848 descending to 6,000 feet.
Delta 1848, good afternoon. Radar contact. Altimeter 3014.
Altimeter 3014, Delta 1848.
Pretty sure it said 4,000 feet before, but that's alright. Got our altimeter adjusted again. Definitely planning on streaming some Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. I just pre-ordered that today. We got the highest bundle, I guess, premium edition, $120. So definitely looking forward to flying on that. I've seen some videos. I'm sure you guys have also seen some videos of other people that have were part of the alpha program, and they now have access to the preview build, but they are allowed to stream that. Oh, we got some stuff showing up on our radar. So we're definitely looking forward to flying that. Like I said previously, definitely still going to be flying X-Plane 11, probably a lot, or if not equally as much as Flight Sim 2020, just because of the plane options. But I think if we start to see some add-on planes going in there, we might make our way over to that. But really haven't decided yet. Either way, we'll still be streaming both platforms, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Definitely very excited about it. I'm kind of curious why it's coming out on a Tuesday, but I've actually thought about taking off of work on that day just to get some streams in there. I'm super excited for it. The plane's doing a pretty good job of maintaining descent here. It's kind of strange because, I mean, I've seen videos of this, of Flight Sim 2020, the preview build, and I'm hearing kind of mixed reviews on it. I'm hearing some people say that it feels too much like a video game, you know, an Xbox, PlayStation style game, and it is going to come out on Xbox, so I don't know how much it can hold up to the name of simulator, but we'll definitely test it out for ourselves and get a good feel for it. Everything that I've seen, I mean, just in what you can see on the ground, looks absolutely amazing. I mean, compared to you know, FSX, this absolutely looks amazing. But comparing, you know, Flight Sim 2020 to this, it's just completely different. The terrain and everything. So we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely excited though. So here we are into some more rain. Yeah, the radar is showing a lot on here, which, I mean, normally you would look for something like this. But we'll see what happens. going to keep it on the low since we're in approach here. This is one thing that I'm really hoping is much better in Flight Sim 2020 is the weather refresh. I mean, that is just terrible sometimes, and especially if it goes from calm to crazy conditions, it can really throw your plane around. So there's 10,000, so we're going to get our landing lights on. Landing lights on this plane, I believe, are retractable. Got some lightning behind us.
Delta 1848 contact Atlanta approach on 124.6. Have a nice day.
Approach on 124.6 Delta 1848.
I think my computer's going to hold up pretty good to it.
Approach Delta 1848 descending to 6,000 feet.
Delta 1848 good afternoon. Radar contact. Continue descent via the KJAX arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 27 left with the wrong transition at Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta.
Continue descent via the KJAX arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 27 left with the wrong transition Delta 1848.
Alright, so we're a little bit high. We should have been at 6,000 here, so we kind of broke that rule. But anyways, I think my computer's going to do pretty good with it. I've got an i7, although it is an older i7. I think it'll handle just fine. 32 gigs of RAM, and I believe it's a... What kind of graphics card do I have? I have the AMD 5700 XT, so we should be able to handle pretty good. Let's see what's... We're running 30 frames right now through the clouds on descent, and I have the settings completely maxed out, just about on here. I'll show you guys real quick. So I mean our settings are pretty high, and we're using and we're getting 32 frames per second right now, and on the ground I get about 60. So looks like it's getting a little bit bumpy. The autopilot's bouncing all over. Hopefully it doesn't disconnect on us. We're going to bring it down to 4,000 at this point. So this side 27 left, cross Jedi 10,000 Daffy, Puma 6,000. Okay. Puma is 6,000.
Delta 1848 turn left heading 343 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 27 left at Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta.
Heading 343 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 27 left Delta 1848.
Alright, so we're going to go flaps one notch at this point. We got 6 knots of wind.
Delta 1848 turn left heading 338.
Heading 338 Delta 1848.
Just captured our localizer. So we're going to close this, go into our approach chart. So we should be getting a descent.
Delta 1848, turn right heading 343.
Heading 343 Delta 1848.
I'm going to go ahead and descend down.
Delta 1848, descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet Delta 1848.
And we're going to bring this back to 180.
Delta 1848 cleared for ILS approach to runway 27 left, fly heading 304 to intercept final.
Cleared for ILS approach to runway 27 left, fly heading 304 Delta 1848.
Delta 1848, altimeter 3015 at Hartsfield Jackson, Atlanta. Eye contact tower on 119.1. Have a good afternoon.
Altimeter 3015 tower on 119.1 Delta 1848. Tower Delta 1848 inbound for ILS approach runway 27 left.
Delta
Alright, so the final is
1848, good
139.
afternoon. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 27 left, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 27 left, will call when established on final Delta 1848. Delta 1848 established on final for ILS runway 27 left.
Delta 1848, winds are 295 at 6 knots, cleared to land runway 27 left.
Cleared to land runway 27 left Delta 1848.
Alright, and gears coming down. And we are going to go 139 is our approach speed. And we'll go flaps full. I'm really looking forward to on Flight Sim 2020 what Atlanta is going to look like. Being able to see the city, because right now we should be able to see the city right here, and what the airport's looking like. Thousand feet. Stabilized. Missed approach altitude set. we're going to take it at 500 feet. Frame rates are pretty low right now, only 15 frames per second. I'm not sure what's eating up our frame rate. I don't know if Pilot2ATC does use any of it or not, but...
500.
Alright, 500 feet, autopilot's coming off.
Autopilot.
Auto throttle's coming off.
400. 300.
Hand flying the landing here.
200. 100.
Alright, power idle.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, that was a terrible landing, according to our vertical speed there.
1948 exit runway when able.
Wasted. Wonderful. Wasted. Hit the ground pretty hard there, but hey, we're on the ground. Alright, so landing lights will come off. Spoilers will get retracted. Flaps go up. APU is going to come on. Yeah, we'll blame it on the frame rate. I was only getting about 12 frames per second there on the final, so although it did flare, it was apparently too late to flare. It was a good flare though. APU air, that's going to come on. Alright, request.
Delta 1848 request taxi to the gate.
Delta 1848 contact Atlanta ground on 121.65 for taxi clearance.
Ground on 121.65 for taxi clearance.
Planes.
Delta 1848. Delta 1848 request taxi to the gate. Delta 1848 taxi to gate Echo 14 via taxiways November 4, November, Delta India X-ray India Echo. Taxi to gate Echo 14 via taxiways November 4, November, Delta India X-ray India Echo, Delta 1848.
Okay, so we're definitely not going to go to the internationals, so we're just going to taxi how we know to. I don't know what the heck. It might be because of the streaming too, but so maybe that'll play a role in Flight Sim 2020 as well, but we'll see. So we're just going to taxi the way that we know we would normally get cleared to taxi when we are on VATSIM, and we're going to go park over here where Delta normally parks. I'm really interested in what the what that landing looked like. All I know is something is eating my frames right now. Not sure exactly what it is. It's probably the stream, but I guess that's what happens when you stream full HD. Although the frame rate was kind of bad there on that landing, honestly, I haven't exactly figured out the landings on this plane, even without the streaming. The landings have been kind of rough for me. I haven't actually had a good landing in this plane yet. They've all been pretty rough, so I think it's just because it's a low-wing aircraft. It's very low to the ground, and I just really haven't gotten a feel for it. So we're going to go right here into Alpha, or B16, Bravo 16. So this is Alpha. Alpha's behind us. And we'll cheat a little bit, stop it there. Parking brake set. And we'll kill the engines. Taxi lights come off, and we're not going to worry about anything else on this. Let's go ahead and check out that landing, that very rough landing supposedly. For a hand-flown approach, I don't think it was too bad. The approach, we kept the two lights the whole time. That's probably a little bit glitchy for you guys to see right now, but we kept two PAPI lights the whole way down. Oh yeah, you can tell at the rate we're going to the ground, I should have. Oh yeah, that was a rough one for sure. Definitely a good flare, but we hit the ground pretty hard. Well, let's rewind on that a little bit. Smack the ground. It was really good flare though. Alright. Alright, well, I do appreciate you guys joining. Novellis and Jelly, you both have been on here before, so I appreciate you guys coming back and joining the stream, and anybody else who joined along our flight. Definitely be sure to check out the Rotate MD-90 and Pilot2ATC. It's definitely worth the money. They're both pretty cool to have. The Pilot2ATC is what we used for our ATC co-pilot throughout that flight. But if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. It really does help me out. And stay tuned for more videos. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll definitely be streaming Flight Sim 2020 when it comes out on August 18th. Hopefully we'll get some more Flight Sim before then. But until then, this is Josh, the Limitless Pilot. See ya.